What's up, mother suckers? Back
What's up?
again. Want to apologize to Mr. Tom McDonald for our last episode. We might have got a little excited with your Devil is a Democrat and might have accidentally played it. But if we ever make any money, we'll give you half of our dollar. If we make $1, we'll give you our 50 cents. So well done, Mr. Tom, for the Devil is a Democrat.
An amazing song. Amazing song. Wonderful.
Great song. Nice
Wonderful
fire.
artist.
So, as we were just talking about growing up together, we've known each other for, I'm 44, almost 40 years, dude. I would say you're probably my
40
longest.
years in 2027.
I would say you're obviously one of my longest friends, and we're still 40 years later. For one, we're still alive. That's crazy.
And we're starting a completely new venture in our lives after.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like we've been doing this forever. I mean, we're on episode 6.
Yeah, and if the world must know, John has been very annoying about it every day now. You're a FaceTime. What's the FaceTime about? Is it like because you get free data or some shit? Or you just want to see my face?
What do you mean? Oh, when I call you?
Yeah, dude, you're always fucking calling me on FaceTime, bro.
Honestly, you know what it is? Like, my whole entire family, when we talk, we FaceTime. So you should think of
Like,
it
aren't you
as like,
busy doing shit?
I mean, if I can't answer, I can't answer, you know? But
See, I'm a
Isabel
big
still
texter.
FaceTime me all the time because of the kids, so I could see them.
Yeah, I'm a big texter. I'm just like, done, gone. Every time I fucking look down, it's you calling me, and I gotta look at your ugly ass mug. Anyway, yeah, we've known each other a long time. From back in little whippersnappers, dude, back in
I think you were, how old are you?
How old am I?
How old are you now?
44. I'll be 45 in February.
So you're almost 3 years younger than me.
Y- Yeah.
So you were 6 years old when I met you, bro, and you were like
Dude, me,
still in
you,
Jackson, Margaret.
you, and Dave were like the three amigos, dude. We did everything together.
We really did.
That, that shit was crazy.
I remember I heard a story, and I think it might have been you or somebody in the neighborhood, but it was like the first night we moved into the house, and my parents finally let us go outside into the court to ride our bikes. And I remember riding my bike around the court. I feel like it was you. It could have been someone else, but like that started a rumor and called us the Russians. The Russians, like we're fucking Cold War spies or something,
There's sleeper cells. The sleeper cells moved in.
right? No,
That's funny.
that was a crazy time. 1987
Yeah,
was the
dude. And when
year.
we moved into that neighborhood, it was like dirt. Like
Yeah.
because the court that you moved into, that's where Mike lived was the model, right?
No.
With Jerry.
So, uh-uh. You remember where Andrew and Scott lived on the other court behind
Oh
us
yeah,
on the
yeah,
other
yeah,
side?
yeah. Oh, that's right.
It wasn't
Andrew and
his
Mike.
court, it was the court at the top of that hill
Got it, got
where
it,
all
got it.
the model homes. So,
That's
yeah.
right. Okay. Dude, that was fucking Scott. That dude was wild.
I like him. I like him. Dude,
Yeah.
he was a character. He's a pretty cool dude. His kids are, like, hardcore into sports and everything.
Yo, that dude was a hell of a swimmer, and I'll tell you what, dude, that motherfucker was a tough dude. Like
Dude, when he moved
he
to the
came off as
neighborhood,
like
he got
that kind
picked
of
on
like
by
nerdy
everybody.
kind of dude. But I'll tell you what, man, I saw him fight. Who did he fight? He
Gumby,
fought some.
Matt, Vance,
Yeah, yeah.
like 6 of them by himself.
Yeah, dude, and he was a dude. He balled out, man. I liked Scott was cool. I like Scott.
Yeah, he was cool.
There was a couple times where he got Dave and I beer when you were in the army and the Navy.
Zima,
He went and got us some Zimas.
that cat loved Zimas.
Yeah, dude, that was my shit. But yeah, dude, we met some fucking dude Gumby. Oh my god, remember little Jay Thomas?
Uh, Jay Thomas, that cat was wild. That cat worked with me.
Yo, he
First
was.
job with when I worked for Volvo, he worked for me, and dude, he was scary. Like he he confronted me in the bathroom one time. I was in there, and it's literally Ronan, like a switch turned on, and he was trying to physically like start an altercation with me, attack me. I was like, "Yo, what is going on?" Out of
Yeah,
nowhere, I was literally just.
I think he was like bipolar, dude, because there was a couple
Think,
like
think.
he was really cool and then he really wasn't.
I mean,
But
when you're
like
like 32 years old living at your mom's house and take the ride on bus, like
yeah,
something was off with
yeah. And so, did you know that Steve Brunner died?
it. Yeah. And didn't his sister die?
I don't know, dude, but like he was a little special too. Steve
Uh,
was a wild dude. But yeah,
Well,
man,
him and James would
they were best friends.
dude, I remember one time Steve tells me, he goes, "John," that's how he always talked. He was like, "I just dropped a couple hits of acid into my eyeball." I was like,
Yeah, dude,
"Oh."
that motherfucker was crazy. That dude was crazy, dude. He was always doing shit like that. I remember one time I went over to his house and he had these big ass speakers. Like,
I
remember the old
remember.
school joints?
I
He
remember
had
the
these
speakers.
speakers that would rip the whole townhouse row. And I went over to his house one day and his mom, dude, his mom was a fucking lunchbox.
Dude, I bet I
His
coulda hit that.
mom was
I bet
crazy,
I
like
coulda hit that.
certified crazy.
I bet I coulda hit that.
I, bet- and I bet you would have. Yo,
Absolutely.
his mom was like Linda Backer crazy. And I came over to his house one day and his mom would never let anybody over. Like, I go in his house and I go up into his room and he had that attic above his room, and he was up in the attic and he was tripping balls and he was building a fort.
In the
I
attic.
was like I was like, "Yo, dude, what are you doing?" And he had the music blasting, like the whole neighborhood was buzzing.
Dude, that whole row of townhouses in that part of the neighborhood was off the chain. One time, Gumby attacked Scott in his townhouse on the upstairs level and,
Mm.
like, attacked Scott and chased him out of the house, spraying him with a fire extinguisher.
Yo, so you remember the row that Steve lived in?
Yeah,
The one on the very end
that was
towards the
Brian,
basketball
wasn't
courts?
it?
Yes. No, the one next on the very end. There was one night where, dude, when you went to the Navy, me and your brother, dude, we were wild. Like, we were like out of control wild.
What do you mean when I went to the Navy? You guys were fucking wild. I remember one time I was smashing Janelle up in my
Here, you
bedroom.
gotta lean closer to the lean.
There was one night I was smashing Janelle, and I'm up in my room, and this is before I left for the Navy, and I come downstairs, and I'm like, "Where's God? Dave didn't even have a license. Y'all just took my car whenever you wanted and just
Dude,
went joyriding."
dude, oh my God. So anyway, so that house on the end, right?
Yeah,
Dave
yeah,
and
yeah.
we were all fucking around in the neighborhood, and I took a shit in a brown paper bag, and I went and lit it on the dude's drive on his porch. It was like a big pile of fucking turd. And yo, that side of the neighborhood, that joint was wild.
Yeah,
That was like the west side of our
of the
neighborhood.
neighborhood, yeah. It was
That was
crazy.
like the troubled part. That was the projects of P2.
That was the entrance to the psychos that bred your fucking dog Fonzie going
Oh yeah,
up
yeah,
to the
yeah, yeah,
Brookfield
yeah.
Country
That's
Store that lived
that's
on that
right.
street.
Yo,
Dude,
that dude was off the wall crazy.
so for all of you guys listening, Ronan had this dog when we were growing up. It was the Dalmatian, and I blame Disney because they made it seem like Dalmatians were meant to be around kids. That's
Like,
absolutely
friend,
not true whatsoever.
no.
That is the most vicious dog on the planet.
That is crazy why they're not friendly at all.
Population control.
Like, he bit me. Like, I've got a scar on my arm that's like 12 inches long. Like, he bit every single one of my friends.
For some reason, Fonzie was chill with me, and I was always deathly afraid. I was like,
Yo,
when does he snap? When is Cujo's coming out and killing me? Like he
yo,
gets me
let me
lured in, and
I'll tell you my favorite story about him. Obviously you when you hear Dalmatian, you think one of two things. You either think the Disney movie or a firehouse,
fire
right?
department.
Okay, so when my brother was living in New York, my parents would always, when he was doing plays on Broadway and shit like that, they would always go up. Every time they went up, I always had a party,
Oh
right?
yeah,
I had some really good parties. So this one night, I had a couple people over, or it was like the end of a party, and there was a few people over. And remember, I had like that big ass piece of plywood that kept from the living room to the kitchen to keep them separated. So we're all sitting here and we're bullshitting, and we're at the kitchen table, and Fonzie's sitting there staring at the couch. He looked like like he was like batshit crazy. He was just staring at the couch and he was whining and crying. And I'm thinking, the fuck's going on with this dog? So I climb over the wood and I put him outside. I'm like, go outside, whatever. I come back in. I'm sitting down and he sits down in front of the couch and starts doing it again. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with this kid? So I go and I get the dog, I put him outside, and he comes back in. He does it for a third time. And at this point, everyone's like, "Yo, what's going on with your dog, dude? Like he's wilding out, almost like he like got into Steve's acid or something." So, so I grabbed your brother because your brother was the only one that he wouldn't bite that was there.
Well, okay.
So, yes, because you and David used to just walk in the house. So he saw that as
Like,
family.
we belong there. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But like Fraley, like when he would come in, he'd be like, and Fonzie's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get that motherfucker." So anyway, so he's like barking at this fucking couch for like 3 times, right? So finally I'm like, "Dave, come over here." And I pick up the couch and he's like looking under it. I'm like, "Is there a ball or some shit under here?" And I'm like, "There's nothing here, bro. Like, calm down." I send him back out, comes right back in. So I'm like, "Dave, come help me move the couch." Now, just to remember, my bedroom was in the basement
Right below that.
right below that room, right?
Yeah.
Because that's where your room was.
Yeah.
It's the same exact house you had. So I was staying in my parents' house with just me, and I was underneath this living room. When me and your brother moved out the couch, the second we moved the couch, the outlet on the wall exploded and caught fire to the wall. And I had to grab a pillow from the couch, and it was like, my mom had some fancy ass couch and matching pillows, and I'm hitting the wall with this pillow to put out the fire. Right now, there's this big ass black mark on the wall. The pillow's all fucked up, and I'll never forget it, dude. I looked at my dog, and the face he gave me, bro. He was like, "You fucking idiot." He was like, "I told you,"
Right?
and
That's
because
just
he had
amazing that he had that, like, that
that
natural
intuition.
intuition.
Yeah, dude.
That's awesome.
So, and then it hit me. I was like, oh my God, like my friends were about to go home and I was about to go to fucking bed underneath this couch with nobody else home. Like this house would have caught on fire and I'd be dead, like
And back in those days, well, still today, there's the law. That room and my room are not bedrooms because there's
because there's no
no.
window.
Yeah.
Speaking of windows, I have written down here sneaking out. I was talking to somebody the other day and I was explaining to them I was at my kid's school. I do a couple after school clubs for them. And there was this window and the way it opened was all janky. And I was like, "Man, this reminds me of the windows back in the basements where we used to sneak out of." And they were like, "What are you talking about? Like, what do you mean sneaking out?" I'm like, "Oh, dude, my fat ass used to crawl through these little ass windows." And then I was like, "You think that's bad?" My boys, their parents had
Installed
the
bars.
what?
Installed bars.
Yes, the cages.
Yeah, my parents.
Yo, y'all motherfuckers used to sneak out and just untwist the bolts and
No,
push it open.
Dave figured that out. Dave figured everything out. Dave was
Yo,
like
Dave was
king
Dave
snake.
was the master sneakiness. You know
Absolutely.
what? You know who Dave reminds me of? You remember in what's the Adam Sandler movie, Mr. Deeds? You remember Never Underestimate My Sneakiness? That's your
Yeah.
brother, yo.
Yeah.
Yo, that dude stayed sneaky.
And he also played the same role in your favorite movie, The Big Lebowski. He was
That's
nobody
right.
fucks with the
Oh
jizzes.
yeah, you pull out the pistol, I put it in your ass till it goes click. Yeah.
Dude, I think you and I, especially you, know every line to that movie simply because it played 24/7 in our house.
So
And
yes.
we became alcoholics because of the drink in that movie.
Oh, don't get
The
me
White
fucking started
Russian.
on the White Russian. I
Did we
was the
try to
dude.
bring that back?
Hey, so let me ask you this. What did we used to do? I remember like when we would sneak out, we used to go, you know what? We always used to go to Tommy's house because that was kind of like the place we could chill and do whatever.
Tommy's or Mark's?
But like we didn't like I can't incriminate ourselves, but we didn't go out and like do too much crazy shit.
You
We
shouldn't
may
have
have
said anything at all.
we may have pushed the envelope when we were younger as well. I
Yeah,
guess that's what
before
I
we
should
knew it
say.
was a thing.
But like for the most part, like we just like did drugs and broke
Frank,
some laws and we were good kids.
do you remember, and you don't have to get into detail, but do you remember that night at Robbie's parents' house when they went out
Oh
of
yeah,
town?
yeah. Are you talking about the night where he tried to fight Mixon,
I'm talking about the night when you brought a certain girl downstairs on the couch in the living room, and she thought
dude?
she was with you, but she was with me.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I thought you were talking about Robbie E.
Robbie.
So no, yeah, I remember that night. I blacked that one out on purpose. I went like this. Doo, 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 psh.
That was a
the little
wild
Men in
night.
Black joint.
Dude, those people weren't even home. Carl lived with them,
Yeah,
and he just threw the party. I was like,
he
"What
lived with
in the world?"
he was like part of that family. He lived with
That was
them
wild.
for a long time. So it was funny because when you said Robbie and downstairs, I remember I had a party one night, and Robbie was a wild dude too.
E.
Rest in peace, my man
Yes.
Robbie
Yep.
E.
Yep.
But I remember I had a party that was so perfect that Leahy came over, knocked on the door, and went home because he didn't think anyone was there. There was like 80 people in the basement smoking jacks and hanging out. So Robbie comes over, and there's a couple dudes there holding a beer bong, and they're trying to trick one of their boys. They put a pill of Viagra in this beer bong, and they were trying to get their one friend Mike to drink it. And Robbie comes down the stairs. He's like, "Yeah."
Viagra in the beer bong?
So Robbie comes down, crushes this beer bong. And they're like, "No, no, no!" And he's just, you can see the pill go, doo, 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 doo. And then about a half an hour later, my man Rob,
He had a raging boner?
he's all over everybody. And the girls are like, "Bro, what are you doing?" And then he went home early. I was like, he went home to fucking yank it out. He's probably
Probably
sitting there
thought
like, "What's going on?"
his
That dude's wild,
his mom
man.
was smoking hot.
His mom was cool too, man. His mom was real
But
cool. But yeah, dude, we grew up around some wild people, man. Gumby, holy shit. And
remember
then
the swim team in Milford Mills?
yes, Milford Mills was awesome, dude. That
Yeah.
shit was, dude. We used to go there when I was older. Me and Broda and a bunch of people, we used to go there all the time, and that shit was dope, dude.
Rhoda! Yo,
Hold
do
on,
you remember the night?
hold.
Go ahead, go ahead.
I was gonna say, so okay. There's Milford Mills, and then there's Harper's Ferry. I think our best story ever was my kids will always say like, "Hey, tell me stories about growing up," and I'm like, "Oh, there was the can't do that. What that? Can't do that one." So I've noticed that I've like kind of twisted a couple of the stories to make them like PG,
Right?
but
'Cause they were definitely, like, right.
my go-to is the Harper's Ferry. So that was me, you, and your brother. So we went to Harper's Ferry where they had that rock quarry, and when I remember we took the Isuzu, right? And then we had that big ass blow up boat, that
And one
inflatable
mountain
joint,
bike.
and one mountain bike. And then so
'Cause
we
we
were
were
trying,
using the mountain bike to, like, scout it out before we got there, and because we
yeah.
parked at the
So
flea market about a mile away.
yeah.
And
So
mind
what
you,
we
this is an illegal
Oh, it was no
situation. We
trespassing,
no
bro.
trespassing.
It was very much like a no fly zone.
No fly zone,
But
no swim zone.
yeah, so dude, I'll never forget. So you dropped me and Dave off with the boat, and then you went and parked at the flea market, or not the food stand, the fruit stand, right? The veggie stand.
No, I parked at the flea market, but
Oh,
at
which was the
the
same
beginning
parking
of
lot
the
as
flea
that.
market was the fruit stand. We
Yeah.
parked
So
kind of in the back to be, like, discreet.
yes.
Discreet.
So you parked there and then rode the bike back to where we were. So it worked out great because you had a bike to get there. Anyway, so we're out
Yeah.
there swimming, having a good old fucking time, jumping off rocks, da 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 da. We're all done.
Flips.
And then Homeboy shows up on his little Honda Sebring cruiser. He looked like a little fucking midget. And he was all sorts of mad. And I remember, I'll never forget, he said, "Oh, you guys aren't supposed to be back here, da da da. And I hope you're not driving in a Suzu Trooper." And I was like, "Oh God." So you parked in the parking lot and were the only vehicle in the entire parking lot. It was one vehicle, it was you.
Mind you, the flea market is popping on the weekends. We were on summer break
It was
and
like a Tuesday.
Tuesday. Yeah,
It,
it was just a random day. Now, so I'll take over on the bike part because that's a funny story. Go
all
ahead.
right, so basically we found out real quick that we didn't have a vehicle. And we didn't have cell phones, and we probably had
Or
$7
money.
in I was gonna say we probably had $7 between the three of us. Me and your brother had to carry this big ass inflatable boat like a mile and a half to the flea market. And then you had to get on your bike and go sort out where the truck was. And then I'll let you take over that whole situation.
So David and Ronan basically were carrying this boat back, and we're trying to figure out like what to do. So while they're doing that and they're walking, opposed to being
Oh,
dropped
and it
off,
was hot as fuck
it's
too. It
like
was like
100 degrees.
110 degrees out.
Yeah, it was crazy. As opposed to, getting dropped off, they had to walk all the way back to where the car was, or at least the first known civilization, which was that flea market. I got on the mountain bike and I found out where the Juzu was towed to, and we didn't have GPS and stuff like that, so I had to like memorize these directions.
Yeah,
They were like,
left,
"Yeah,
left,
go
right, left.
here, turn here, do this, do that," and the whole trip going through Harper's Ferry is nothing but mountains. So you
You
can
were
imagine
going
it's not
up, then
flat.
down, up, then down.
Up and down,
Yeah.
110 degrees, up and down, up and down. So I find the place, I get there, and the only reason I went there, well, I was kind of in hopes that I could like figure out a way to get the car out, but they didn't. They said, "Hell no, you want this car? It's $160." I was like, "Oh my god, we don't have like 10 cents to our name. Like, what are we gonna do?" So I ride all the way back to the flea market. And mind you, this was like 2.5 to 3 miles over mountainous roads and highway.
Yeah.
And
And
I
hot.
ride all the way back to Ronan and David and you guys. And I'm like, yeah, it's like 160 bucks and take over.
So me with the gift of gab, I started chatting up the woman of the fruit stand. There was only one business that was open, and it was this little fruit stand. And the woman was mad cool. She was super nice.
Some
You know, she
peaches.
gave, yeah, let's just, are you thirsty? You want this? And meanwhile, we're like dying in this parking lot. Granted, we had to have your car back to the house by 5 or Nick was gonna cut your balls off. So
Yeah.
not only did we have this all going on, but we had a time frame, and it was at least an hour to get home.
Oh,
So
easily.
we had to get going, right? So we're sitting there, and then John comes back, and he looks like he's dying from dehydration and riding. The woman, and John comes back, he's like, it's $160. And we're like, well, what the fuck are we gonna do? And then the woman's like, well, you guys seem like nice guys. And she's like,
Wah, wah, wah.
I can spot you the 160 as long as you come back. And we're like, fuck yeah, we'll come back. Like, what kind of people do you think we are? Of course we're going to come back. We'll come back tomorrow. So we get this. So this woman who when do you think that was? Like early 2000s?
Oh,
Yeah, that
no,
was
no way,
probably even like
because I
99.
graduated high school in 1996, and this
So it
was
was probably
like
like 99
no, it
ish.
wasn't. I was in the Navy in '99. It was before I graduated high school. We
Okay, so it was before that.
yeah,
So imagine how much a peach cost then
it's like
versus a peach
94,
now.
95,
This chick would have had to sell like 1,000 peaches to get $160, right?
right?
So the fact that she gave us $160 was like unbelievable. Like that could have been like a whole week or two of income. But we were like, fuck, we'll be back tomorrow. John takes the money, rides back into town. I could see his ass going up this mountain. I think it was like a Peloton. He's fucking going up this mountain, racing the clock because we got to get back before 5. Dude, John comes flying down the mountain in the Trooper. I love that Trooper, by the way. That was my favorite one.
That was awesome.
And throws the bike in, throws the boat in. We're like, babe, I love you. You're the best. We'll see you tomorrow. And we get about halfway home, and we knew damn well we weren't going back tomorrow.
I felt horrible.
And you know what? Still to this day, every time I drive by that fruit stand, I think of karma. And if you're listening out there, fruit stand lady, let me know. We owe you 160 peaches because we didn't have a car the next day. So I remember when we were trying to organize going back down there, Nick took your car. You guys got in trouble for probably because you didn't clean the house.
A house or something,
You didn't polish the tiles with
dude. We're like
toothbrushes.
fucking modern day
But
slaves for Nick and Esther.
oh my God, bro! I had to come over and help you. I was a slave,
That
dude.
you
Your
had to help
parents.
us if you wanted to hang out with us. You had to help
Yeah,
us
I had to help.
get the fuck out of there.
Yo, I cleaned your house more than I cleaned my house for like 10 years. I was like free Ronua labor, dude. Like I was fucking dusting. So anyway, so I used to go to this. I used to go to Charlestown to watch horse races and shit. Every time I drive by it, it's out of business, obviously, because people like us fucking put them there. So every time I drive by it, I always go slow, like seeing if it's open, because it's like the one thing in life I fully regret, and I've been very generous ever since in my adult life.
I'm so glad you said that. I was going to say the same thing. Like throughout my adult life, and it's not because of that, but it really did set like who I was in motion, and I'm the first guy. Oh, hungry children at the checkout stand at Safeway.
Yeah.
Boom, $3, $3, $5,
Yeah.
always. And I just have always felt like if share the wealth, don't keep it all to yourself. And maybe that
Yeah.
was the thing, Ronan, that the universe placed in our lives to teach us that lesson.
Yeah,
I
if that
mean,
helps you sleep tonight. But I always feel like an asshole because oh man,
so
that poor
you
lady.
you made me think of something when you said Rhoda. I remember I worked for the Shark Club and I went to my boss,
Burkittsville?
John and John T. I
Yeah.
said to him, I was like, yo, I need a raise. Because I want to buy this truck. And he was like, okay, cool, let's make it happen. So he gave me the raise and I felt comfortable with the payment after having the raise.
Are
I
you
bring
talking about the
this
S10?
Yeah, the S10. I bring this
Yeah.
thing home, and it was that summer that I bought it. One night, we were all together. Me, you, Dave. No, me, you, Mark, and John. And you and Mark like had this plan to do something, and you got me in on it, and you set me up like to participate. And we were all driving, and it was a nice summer night, and you were like, "Yo, me and Mark are gonna sit in the back of the truck while you drive." Okay. Do you remember this? And John, you sit with John while he drives in the front. So I'm driving and we didn't even have to say anything. We are rolling up on 340 coming into Harper's Ferry. And before you come into Harper's Ferry, there is a big sign that says next
Burkittsville.
exit Burkittsville.
Well, hold on. Before you go any farther, that was that movie, The Blair Witch.
Blair Witch Project.
And
Yes.
that movie had just come out like a month or two before this night. So that sign is very important because if you believe in scary movies, that shit was fucking just backyard. That was right down the street, like 30 minutes from where we grew up. So, and he was a scaredy little bitch, dude. Like when he saw that sign, my man's almost shit himself.
Shit himself. He was a grown man crying in my truck. I was
Yeah, that shit was so funny.
knew what was going on. It was
Yeah.
crazy. I think one Mark with his sadistic mind like started hitting the glass and scaring the shit out of John, and it was crazy. So we ended up taking the exit, and I shit you not, John was begging and pleading with me to not go into Bill. It was the fucking craziest thing.
I
I was
remember.
like, John, just a movie. He was terrified of that movie. So when you had said,
Yeah. Yeah,
Harper
he was.
Ferry and John, I was like, oh my God. Like that's a
Dude,
memory that
I
I
I
have that
remember
will never go away.
I remember that night. You know what was interesting about that dude? I had a really big falling out with him over some dumb shit. He never drank, he never smoked, nothing. And then when he went to college and ended up drinking, but he always wanted to sit in the car while we smoked. He loved like hotboxing a car, but he never ever 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 smoked.
Yeah, he physically didn't smoke, but he smoked just being in there. Like he
He
was
would sit in
playing
a
the game.
hotbox car and he would just he.
Dude, when I think of John and I think of hotbox in a car, I think of the most your Cougar, that
Oh, that
purple
joint
with
was
the
tight,
chrome
dude.
wheel.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that. That
Frank,
joint, that was a V8 too.
thing was. I remember one
That thing
night
was
you were like,
nice.
John, push it on 70.
Going up to Frederick?
Yeah. And I was
Yes,
like, you
dude. And I
sure?
was all
You're
drunk.
like,
I was
yeah,
like, fuck it, do
do it.
whatever. Yeah, I was
I
like,
think you're
whatever,
being
dude. Have
trying
at
to
it. You're
impress a
fucking.
girl.
Yo, that shit was crazy. Yeah, we've done some wild stuff.
We're driving
And
down the
that
highway and
talking
me and Dave switch seats while driving.
while it was on cruise control, and I'm just sitting in the back watching you two dickheads switch seats.
Yeah. Again,
Like, dude,
going
that's what I'm
down
saying. Like,
340 to Harper's Ferry.
the fact that we're still alive is unbelievable.
Absolutely.
We have cheated to death. I couldn't tell you how many times that
Uh,
we've escaped.
and we did our best to keep this episode as PG as possible, with the
You
exception
know,
of
talk
Beth.
about escape. Talking about escape and death. Before we go, your boy John Sillyhead. Where was he from? What nationality is he? Is he
Who?
like you? Is he Egyptian or something?
Who? I'm not Egyptian, Dick.
Yeah, you're like
I'm as
Zimbabwean or
Egyptian
something.
as you are British or
You're
Scottish.
what are you, Ethiopian or Saudi Arabian or something?
No, who were you asking about?
John Sillyhead.
No, who's Greek?
He was Greek, so he was
Greek.
tall as shit, right? Wasn't he like 4 type of thing?
He was pretty tall, yeah.
And what was the fucking van he drove? Was that small? it wasn't a VW.
No,
It
his
wasn't a
van was
VW
made
bus, but it
by
was, like, equivalent to that.
Toyota, and
Yeah,
what it was
and it
is
was stick,
the
right?
driver and the front passenger sat over the wheels of the car, so when
The wheel
you
well.
steered like this, and dude, he thought he
Yeah.
was driving a stock car or a Formula 1 car, and this thing
Dude, the
could just
way he
roll
used
over like it was nothing.
bro, the way he used to drive that thing through the woods back on Blunt Road, yo, this dude would fucking he was like a goddamn it was like driving with like Dale Jarrett or some shit, dude. And then when he would take out your Cavalier. You remember that joint?
Um,
When you would pull the handbrake and do the 180?
that was the funnest car to drive ever.
That car was awesome. I remember when you wrecked it in the pool parking lot, driving too
Oh,
fast and
my
flew
this
over the curb.
far
But
end,
yeah,
right.
by the park.
Yep.
But yeah, your boy John Sillyhead, man, how many times were we in that car when he took like 90-degree turns, and if there was a car coming, that was it, Dunsky. And this dude, I swear to God, man, I don't know if it was the rush, and we're like, yeah, hell yeah, we'll do it again. Let's go. Oh, let's do it again. Yeah, fuck yeah. I'll go tonight. Hell yeah, let's do it. Let's go. Yeah, there's hundreds of times we should have expired. So
Bro,
anyway,
we seriously drove Blunt Road a racetrack.
yeah, and we definitely smoked a lot of blunts on it too.
Right.
That's for sure. We used to,
That was crazy how, like, blunts were a thing. I couldn't even imagine smoking a blunt right now.
oh my God, and dude, Mark used to roll some of the biggest blunts I've ever seen in my life. Like they were this actual size of. He used to do the Godfathers too.
Yeah.
He would
Well,
just like
sometimes they
unpack.
take tweezers and pluck everything out of it
Hmm.
slowly, and Mark was, or still is, a borderline perfectionist at
Yeah,
anything
he was
he
he
does.
was a blunt master.
Yeah. He took
Yeah,
pride in
dude, we
that.
that was like our jam, dude. Like 4 nights a week, we would pick up a 20. The three of us would just go and just polish off a blunt, go up to 7-Eleven, go up to Blimpie, get us a fucking 6 inch.
Seriously.
Oh,
Those are the
you
good
know
old
what?
days.
Last thing before we go. You remember when you had Jen's little geo tracker
Oh
up in
god,
Mount Airy?
Ori and Mount Airy?
That joint, that was one of the best 4x4s I've ever seen in my life. We put that
Incredible.
bitch through the ultimate test. I remember at one point we went up this embankment. It's like a quarry or something.
It
And we
was a
went up this
quarry.
embankment, and the way that you turned was so terrible because we should have rolled.
Mhm.
And dude, we took this thing down behind St. Paul's Church, and that joint should not have handled as well as it did. And there was snow outside.
No, 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 no. The that dirt road by St.
Yeah.
Paul's Church was in the S.
No.
Yes, it was, because I was so pissed because we were like this, and my fresh paint job and door was get
Yeah, yeah,
100%.
yeah, yeah.
We were in
Okay. Okay.
S10.
I see what you're saying.
Geo
But yeah, we had
Tracker,
it up.
in Mount Airy on that in that quarry.
That's right. We had that joint ripping, dude. That was pretty impressive. That little geo tracker.
Absolutely. If it wasn't so gay, I would have bought one.
Yeah, I know. It was like teal.
Yeah. No, it was.
It's like
I
it's like
actually,
teal with like pink letters.
when I saw Jen for Jordan's funeral, we were just goofing off and like
Sit,
reminiscing
hey,
about
sit closer to the mic.
we were just reminiscing about the old days, and I brought up that story of how when she lent me the Geo Tracker, she went out of town. I told her what we did with it. She's like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, we kind of."
She was like, I thought it was a little dirty.
Oh
Yeah,
God,
that's because we ragged
incredible.
the shit out of it. All right, cool. That's a good show. It's always fun reminiscing.
Absolutely, and you guys are gonna see us more and more, just really pushing the envelope, no pun intended, with our social media. It's growing. We thank everybody that has supported us so far.
Yeah. Thanks for spending some time with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so long, mother suckers. You want to suck on these?
But did you die?
Peace out, gay boys.
Peace out. All right.